Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I literally, it's so funny for someone that can just talk and talk and talk. The second you have someone talking next to me, I completely lose my train of thought. So for those that think that I'm so self-centered that I can only think of myself, and of course not thinking of anyone in this call, just, kind of like an anecdotal story, totally not true. All right, so as I was saying, the cool thing about partnering with such a large patent advisory and consulting firm is that it's in the hands of the experts, right? Like they're doing their thing. And what's really cool that I didn't even know that they had access to, well, I guess that's accurate, right? But like, duh, they should, is that because they're a patent advisory firm and because there's a thing called notice, which, everything in patent is legal, right? Like, imagine any parts of your life where you're like, oh, lawyers are there, this is gonna SUCK. That's the totality of a patent. In fact, a patent is exact, like it's law, right? So every component, 100 and 100 and 100 and 100 million percent of it is legal. So when the Liquidex goes ahead and sends it out to individual companies, private equity firms, yada, 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 even those that are interested cannot respond to it unless they go through like a 60-day period of time, which is kind of the average, called notice, where they have to go to their back office, their lawyers, their legal departments, and make sure that they're not infringing or that there's no conflict of interest. So you would think to yourself, well, Ant, that kind of like, stinks. Like, how do you know if anything's even happening? Well, the tech that they have is that the emails that they send out, they have trackers on it to identify if those emails are being forwarded or sent to other departments. Like, duh, right? Like when they said that to me, it kind of answered all of my concerns. So they can see, all right, we sent it to company ABC. Company ABC then forwarded it over to their legal team. Now it's in legal team and it's bouncing around that department. This is really good. And, yada, yada, yada. So that is where we are currently. And like I was saying before, we're making our third payment today. Each payment is $3,500. This is like an amount that I actually have to budget for. Like it's like it changes things, right? Because as anyone knows, I don't sell anything. This is just a big, project that we're all together. It's R&D, and here we go. It's it's what it is. So an amount like that changes. Like it's a difficult amount to come up with. So it's like budgeted on a weekly basis. But we're certainly not donating it. It's not a charity. So it's a 6-month contract. After 4 months, there's an opt-out. Meaning any legitimate company in the entire world, which the 7th largest patent and advisory consulting firm would certainly qualify, by month 4, you better show some results because now the person who's paid all 4 months is able to like opt out and they can take their thing and go elsewhere. So being that this is a third payment, being that we've been in it for 2+ months, being that the patent is published, being that I'm in communication with them at least once a week, because when I find something or have an idea, I just simply forward it over and then they send it to their team. I really, 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 and plus the the US Patent Office can get back to us on any day and say, hey, listen, here is what we're awarding you, which claims, which ones we're denying, the reasons why, and if you'd like to refile to gain those claims or reconsideration, here you go. That could be any day now, right? Like, it's now month, I think, 21. We were referenced 18 to 30 months. It could be any day. In fact, one would argue that because it's in AI and because the whole world is like going crazy over AI, that they're really methodically taking a look at what we've done, like they would with anyone, right? Like, not that we're special, meaning that the claims that they grant are going to be like firmly founded, because again, if you put yourself in the shoes of a patent team, the US Patent Office, you would very quickly realize that this year, the previous year, the next year is basically going to be the foundation for all precedents going forward of foundational patent law for AI. So 10 years from now, some company's going to try to patent something with AI, and the objections, the precedent that's going to be compared and contrasted against is the ones that are being granted right now, because this is the first couple of years of it. So for all of those reasons, I'm quite encouraged. And plus, you know how wacky you have to be to patent what we patent, and how lucky you have to be that that's exactly what's happening. So I wouldn't trade our position with anyone, but it's just a waiting game. So while I was thinking, let me reschedule this call, I was like, no. Sometimes I get into the habit of, okay, I could reschedule two in a row, and I think I've rescheduled three in a row once, and that's just not okay. Like, you need to show face. So for anyone that has any particular questions, email me. The second we get something that's of good news, bad news, but just news, I'm obviously going to share via email right away. But right now, it's the difficult part of paying the experts, which is a welcomed challenge, because in lieu of, I'm the one that's going nuts all day, and it's almost like I'm sure there's an analogy for it, but if you're running on a treadmill, you could be convinced that you're making progress. And I think when you're running on the treadmill, you're only focused on like the next step, because if you stop running, you are going to fall and get hurt and whatever. And in lieu of ever being able to think past that you're just running around on a wheel, you can break a sweat, you can really get quite exhausted, and you can end the day with, oh my God, I worked hard today, but you did nothing. So, we've been triaged for so long now that it almost feels a little uncomfortable sitting doing nothing, and nothing is certainly relative, because obviously I'm doing stuff all day. In fact, I just had to, whatever, you get I'm calling you from the office center, right? But not focusing on the patent 24/7 feels, because it's the most important thing we have, feels like we're not doing anything. But I'll tell you a funny story, actually. So about a month ago, I was talking to the patent team, and I was like, I want some type of updates. They're like, oh, we were going to get you an update, and the owner of the firm, his house burnt down. He was in California with those fires. So we're just, behind like a week or two. And I think for the most part, anyone hearing that story usually responds with like, oh, I understand, some type of empathy, some type of sympathy. And I said, are you crediting me 2 weeks? They go, what? I go, you crediting me 2 weeks? Like, you just told me that 2 weeks has not been accomplished because someone lost their house in a fire. Well, I certainly feel sorry for that person. Wait, before I continue, are they dead? Did they lose any family? Okay, so they're alive. Okay. While that's not cool for them, I don't bear that burden. So are you crediting me for 2 weeks? And I wasn't actually expecting a credit, right? Like, I'm not going to, fight tooth and nail for that with the team that's helping you. But at that moment, it was my opportunity to make a very, very loud, resounding statement. Guys, the goal is what matters. I don't really care whose house gets burnt down. That's not my problem. So anyone that knows me, obviously everyone here is like, yeah, that's Anthony. And in fact, like 3 weeks later, I got on a call with all of them, that person included. I said, hey, listen, I heard your house burnt down. Really sorry. Hope you grabbed some pictures. He's like, yeah, that kind of stunk. I was like, great. You know what the best solution is? Selling my patent so that we can make money so you could go buy a bigger house. Do you understand me? He goes, yes. I was like, let's go forward. But anyone that knows me is like, that's so second nature. Like, I wasn't like, oh, okay, sorry. No. Do you want to know what my life has been like for the last 5-7 years, especially the last 2? We have a goal. Let's get there. So that's really all I got. I don't even think I'm going to post. Well, I guess I should post this call just as for the people that aren't on it. But like I said, everything is going at the rate it's going. And as broad and as generalized as that sounds, it's what I have to live with too. Like, I'm not communicating that to hide my timeline. That's being communicated to me to express the timeline of the government. And I'm hoping that the people at DMV that got fired didn't go to the patent office, because that would be bad. But we're just waiting. Do I have anything else? I don't think so. I think that's it. I would like to do something soon, whether it's some type of program or something, just to kind of offer something, because I do have a little bit of newfound time that I can think creatively. and maybe offer something quite cool. So if you have any suggestions, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll be working probably till like 5 p.m. and started at 2 a.m. So I will see you when I see you. Love y'all, and